Pereira broke the rules and used the magic. After the most intense walkouts and stare downs I can recall seeing in the UFC, Pereira performing his usual pre-fight rituals on his way to the octagon, the fight did not disappoint. I feel the UFC played into the pre-fight theatrics with multiple camera pans on the eyes of the two men as they awaited the start of the first round, Pereira and Jiri locking eyes for what seemed like an eternity. I hate to disappoint Jiri with my conclusion, but the only magic I saw here was from a man that is an extremely experienced fighter that remains unusually calm when under pressure. Pereira started on his toes as normal and opened with a low kick to the outside leg of a southpaw Prochazka. Less than 30 seconds in and Jiri had returned back to orthodox, which is the problem within itself. I don't think Jiri knows why he does anything, whereas Pereira is quite calculated with his positioning. That's the benefit of being a former glory kickboxing champion. One man does things with purpose, whereas the other man is reliant upon big swings in momentum. Those swings are hard to gain when the other man doesn't allow you to get into a groove, as the consequences are too severe. With Jiri opting to stand with both hands by his waist, while stood directly in front of a man as dangerous as Pereira, isn't helping matters. Pereira has his arms slightly outstretched so he can jam any shots that come around the side. Pereira is able to kick to the legs just outside of range, and he throws it with no telegraph, his shoulders completely square. He often kicks just outside of the knee where the ligaments are, where there isn't much protection due to a lack of muscle, and this is the point that will cause the most instability in the leg. He attacks weak and vulnerable areas. I noticed Pereira creeping his way around to the left to get himself closer to the target of the punch he wanted to land, the left hook. As he creeps around, he is causing Jiri to have to turn in order to keep Alex in front of him. Pereira is circling towards Jiri's right hand, but this is why he's so active with his own lead hand. He's aware of what he's doing. As Jiri is turning to prevent his stance from being squared up, he's a step behind and there is a moment where he can be caught turning with the left hook. Jiri was also being lured into committing with his own attack in these moments, and that was Pereira's plan. Chip away with the low kicks as he drifted around to the left to turn Jiri and attack him as he's turning. That or catch Jiri coming in. This is where Pereira's lead hand game comes into play, as he will poke with the jabs to the head and body to disguise the hook, and obviously hand fight as he moves around, particularly when Jiri was in southpaw. The positioning of Pereira's arms make it very difficult for the opponent to differentiate the difference between the punches. All his left-sided attacks look the same. Pereira landed multiple left hooks with similar sequences in the first before dropping Jiri at the end of the round. It was pretty much on the buzzer. Jiri was found leaping in to land his own left hand whilst Pereira was turning him, and Jiri's backhand was beside his waist. This is another read I'm sure Pereira had made. You can always exchange with a man who isn't defensively responsible when he's throwing. This is why any boxing school will teach you to keep your hands up as you throw your punches. Positioning is key, and Alex makes it very difficult for opponents to close the gap coming in straight lines. They have to be clever about their work. The other main problem for Jiri is Pereira left hooks very well on the counter, so when he's going backwards in a straight line, he knows how to turn the punch over. This is how he hurt him in the first bout, and I'm sure it was something Jiri was aware of going into this bout, and it must have caused some hesitation when he wanted to close the distance. Jiri doesn't have enough strikes at range to occupy Pereira, whereas Alex has that low kick which can't be ignored, and he's a good sharpshooter with his left hand. It's ironic that Pereira rarely throws a combination. This is why he's so feared, as he often finishes or hurts opponents with just one punch. But he knows where to put himself in order to land it best. Their left high kick in the second was fantastic, but it was on an already compromised Prochazka, who was surely concussed coming out for the second round due to what had happened prior. It's hard to shake off those cobwebs in just a minute. Like most things Alex does offensively, the high kick had no telegraph. He didn't switch or make any big movements before throwing it up. It seems Jiri had thought he may have been a body kick, as he seemed to reach out to grab the kick only to find air, and the foot bounced off the side of his head. That was it. Pereira had iced him once again, only this time far more clinically than the first encounter, making it very hard to call for a third fight. Pereira remains the light heavyweight champion. Another incredible performance, and on late notice. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and you can also follow me over on Patreon. The link will be in the bio. Pro Striking appreciates you more than Alex Pereira using magic and left hooking people into oblivion.